Okay, in this video, let's take a look at LPGA Tour star and a real up-and-comer from Japan. I'm not sure I'm saying the name properly, but Hinako Shibuno. And super athletic style of golf swing, comes from an incredibly athletic family. Both parents world-class athletes, and so very interesting to watch kids of athletes and see how they perform. And certainly really athletic here, a little more sort of uncharacteristic, I would say, this day and age. Seeing a little extra flex there in the knees. And like I said, very interesting swing. We'll look at some short game, some long game, and see kind of what we can look at. First and foremost, the target for this shot, her target line, is somewhere in this line here. And you can see she sets up with the feet in the stance quite open, way over to the left. And in some cases that will serve her well, but in other cases it will actually send the golf club sometimes for her. If she comes out of her posture, it sends that club out this direction, and she starts to over curve the ball right to left. Get some hooks in there, and so we'll see. Certainly in this round, from these videos, she had some hooks going, and we'll see how she finishes off this US Open. But as this club goes up here, very much of a major triangle style of swing. Both arms totally locked out there, going back, incredible width. And then as she gets to the top, that really perfect position. Left arm right along the shoulder plane, left wrist bowed, club face slightly closed. And then if we look and see what happens coming down, it's really a case of what's happening with the body motion. If she's going to come off the wall there too extreme, then that's going to send the hands off the plane, out this way, the club off the plane, and that creates the push hook combo. With that face a little more shut, she's more likely to get some of the hooks. But really athletic move. Great attitude, incredible flexibility. Like I said, you can see the athleticism of the genetics really coming through there. And the days where she's in posture and rotating, she does better. And if she gets a little up and out of the posture, that's where some trouble comes in. For an iron shot here, you can see even at address with the hands that low, extra squatty sort of setup, the club sitting on its heel with that toe up in the air. And if she comes up and out of it and planes that out perfectly, sometimes it's going to be a solid shot. Obviously, she's a great player, but it does lend itself to maybe catching that club in the heel, or the heel in the ground rather. So it's interesting that she would set up with hands that low and have the toe that far off the ground. But once again, the tour's full of interesting anomalies out there. As we go back here, once again, that incredibly wide look, arms they're almost touching her elbows there. That's really amazing look. And even on the chipping, she does that, which is unusual. But up to the top, and there's that closed club face look, totally strong left wrist position, and then that athletic move coming down. We'll look a little bit of her backswing here in a second as well to break down the beginning, but that athletic move there, hips rotating out of the way, and there comes that club in. But like I said, if she's enough off the plane, anyone who hits pushes and hooks, if there's enough of a gap between the hands and that plane as she's coming through, that can lend itself to getting the ball over curving. And there's that amazing fall through position. Incredible strength and flexibility. Taking a look at the driver here, we can see that setup once again with the foot pulled back off the line here. Makes it look as though her foot alignment is way off to the left. Certainly it's more of a staggered stance possibly than open. And to start this swing, it's interesting. She sits and rotates her hips actually to begin the setup. She is actually, and I've seen a few players do this on the LPGA Tour, she's actually rotating the hips to begin the backswing. She's not even moving the shoulders in the club first. There's a sit move, then a rotation of the hips, which a lot of times happens to junior golfers because they're swinging a club that feels a little heavy and they're a little kid and they use the body to get that club moving. And it's just a habit that gets formed. There's that wide position. Perfect position at the top for certainly hitting drivers. Love the flat left wrist. Love the club face being more to the sky. Not quite so open like in the old days. And once again, it's a case of, we watch does she finish up the US Open well or not? It's, what's happening here with how much is she going to come out of posture and get off the plane. This one here, not too bad. But if you watch her in the future, you can see that interesting takeaway with the hips leading the backswing, which helps someone turn obviously very well and rotate and not slide around, which is helpful. And then like we said, with her ability athletically, she's getting a lot of cool things done that maybe some other players couldn't. A little extra movement away from the ball like you see there, which like we said, will send the club sometimes inside out, creating that hook. If we look at the tendency of what happens when she does come out of posture with this shot here, creating extra curve, this ball lands sort of over here in the corner. If we look at this shot here, we can see the ball is going to curve and land more over to the left. And if she gets up and out of that posture, and mostly my diagnosis from this round here was her tempo increased. Her backswing got a lot quicker. Overall transition speed was quicker. And to me, that got her up and out of her posture more quicker. And that created more of this curving shot that was on this trajectory to be ending up over here, which it certainly did. And I thought that was more of not a mechanics change really as much as a tempo change, where maybe in the US Open be more excited at getting ready to win another major. She's got a little tempo problem. We'll see what happens come Sunday. We'll look at the sand shot here, another chip shot in a minute. Sand shot here, I love the setup. Hands low, club face open, and as this club goes back, like I said, typically a player wouldn't have that much extension with the right arm. They would with the left. And you can see she actually loops this thing a little this way, which is fantastic for short shots out of the bunker because you get a little steeper angle of attack down. Gets that club under the ball beautifully. There's the club face nice and open at the finish. But generally speaking, you won't see that from a lot of players where they get any kind of looping action. It is okay in the sand. That's why some slicers of the golf ball hit good sand shots, even though the handicap is high. But it is unusual to see that move from really good players. And she does have a little different move. Extra that triangle and width look right there. Incredible extension. It's a little bit unusual in the short game. With a chip shot, same thing, low hands. Some hinge there. Goes a little more inside than some players might, but not a ton. Still close to the plane. Close to where she started, a little bit out in front. But very much of a player who you can really tell uses the shoulder rotation to control a lot of the movement when it comes to a lot of these little shots. Hands really out of it, a little bit of hinge, but arms incredibly straight. On a longer swing, you'll see the left arm come around like everybody does, but these little ones, complete triangle look like she's holding a ball or a head cover, like right between the arms there, trying to sort of hold it together. And let's take one last look here with an approach shot, and we'll see. This is a nice shot. This is directly on line. And we'll see just how well she planes this out coming down. You see there, much closer to the plane there with this shot. Calmer, less up out of the posture. We've got the club back closer to the plane, hands much closer to where they started. And that will send the club around to the left a little more with a little more club face control. And once again, she hit this directly on her target line. So she's under control today, and the tempo is good. And this final round of the US Open, I think you'll see a good round. If she gets her tempo out of control, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe the short game will have to save her and keep her in the tournament. Can't wait to see what happens. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Shibuno from Japan, and we'll see how she does in the US Open and in the future. Already won major. She won the British Open. We'll see if she can add the US Open to it and many more in the future. Thanks again for watching the video. If it's your first time to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you like the video, hit that like button. And we'll see you in the next one.